Good morning, folks. Welcome to the midweek edition of the Satori Traders Precious Metals News. Here's gold in monthly time frame, no changes, still filling out that shoulder of the head and shoulders pattern. Weekly time frame, we can see gold pushed up into these heavy resistance levels and is currently pulling back, doing a little rest. We can't fault anybody for taking a rest. Gold in the daily time frame, clearly we're dealing with overhead resistance. Prices, basically bumping along sideways, which in the big picture is encouraging. We don't have price dropping. We're just doing a sideways consolidation. MACD is flat pretty much at the zero level. Energy is low. Silver in the monthly time frame, again, nothing going on here, nothing to be concerned about. When I look at this chart, it makes me think about the time frames that we invest in. And in my opinion, it's very important to be clear about what time frame are we investing in. If I were your investment advisor and we established that you were a long-term investor, this monthly chart of silver is all we would look at. When we got together for conversations, we'd spend 30 seconds looking at this chart and then we'd go play golf. We wouldn't look at the day. I'd never show you the daily chart because it's not relevant to the long term. So here's silver in the weekly time frame. We've got price down below the 40-week moving average, which is a little bit disconcerting. Energy in the MACD still headed lower and currently on a sell signal in this time frame. So, if we're focused on the weekly time frame, so if we were a speculator looking at a, 2 or 3 month long strategy, we might be getting concerned with price doing this. And a second point this morning, it's important to be clear on what is my exit criteria. If price drops 15% below the 40-week moving average or whatever the number is, I'm going to bail. And it's very important to have that kind of decision made ahead of time. Because if you try to make that decision in real time, you're dealing with the core part of the human brain, the lizard brain, and it is 180 degrees opposite of what we need to succeed in the financial markets. And so if you try to make important decisions in the heat of the moment, the lizard brain is most likely going to it's going to be encouraging you to make the wrong decision. Silver in the daily time frame, where time frame is important. If we're looking at the daily time frame, so I'm looking at a shorter, multi-week, whatever, shorter time frame that I'm trading, this is not pretty action. We've got price pushing lower impulsively and then, breaking below a support level, testing support level for resistance, and then, making another impulsive leg lower. That's not pretty action in this time frame. So MACD on a sell signal in bear mode, energy in the tank. So not pretty action in the daily time frame of silver, and yet we have to keep in mind that gold is doing this sideways consolidation trick. So gold's doing just fine. And in fact, in light of what's going on in the rest of the markets, I'd say that gold's doing quite well, actually. So back to silver. So that's silver in the daily time frame. Let's look at the mining charts, or mining stocks. This is GDXJ in the daily time frame. We're just doing a sideways consolidation along a support zone, albeit all of this action is happening below the 20-day moving average. So we'd like to see price push up above that level. Still in the daily time frame, these are our silver mining stocks, same kind of story, sideways consolidation along a support level. That spike in volume is encouraging, so buyers came in at this level and, did some serious buying. Note that we've yet to make a new low in the mining stocks. We're back in, I think this is there's July of 20. So July of 20, we're still above that level. So again, the current action doesn't feel good, but we haven't done anything dramatic to break the secular bull market. Now I've got a bunch of charts open for the mining stocks. We're just going to take a quick spin we might not get to all of these. Gatos, I talked about Gatos silver a little bit Sunday. Here in this is the daily time frame. We can see, sideways consolidation, 20-day moving average, bounced off of this low point into a consolidation. That push lower is not pretty. We can see that, for whatever reason, investors decided to sell at that point, did a bunch of selling. MACD potentially bottoming action, histogram headed back up, indicator lines headed back up, potentially still on a sell signal, energy in the tank. What I was thinking when I looked at this stock, and I didn't say this Sunday, so I'm currently in some stocks where I'm underwater. I'm not in Gatos silver, so let me be clear on that. I don't have a position in Gatos silver. I do have some positions where I'm currently underwater, and part of my strategy with those positions is waiting for a relief rally or the next broad sector rally where everything that's got silver in its name or gold in its name is going to rally, and I will exit some of my positions potentially at a loss. I may take a loss on some position and move my funds into stock that I believe are better long-term investments. In my opinion, Lion One has the goods. There's no question that they've got a proven resource. They're aggressively expanding that resource. They've got tremendous blue sky potential, 7-kilometer wide. It's a collapsed caldera of a volcano. Lion One, in my opinion, has the goods. And so I will be moving money out of my positions that haven't performed, and I'll be moving that money into stocks that, in my opinion, will be premier long-term investments, and Lion One is one of those. Lion One came out with some new drill results this week, and they found more high-grade gold at depth. They're down at 500 plus meters. That's 1,500 feet, which is more than a quarter of a mile. They're digging, exploring, expanding this resource. It's an alkaline gold system, and one of the attributes of alkaline gold system is that they're deep. And so part of the strategy at Lion One, they've actually got a three-pronged strategy right now with their 2021 drill program. One of theirs is going deep. They're drilling deep to find the feeder veins, mineralized veins for this alkaline gold system. And so the drill results this week positive that they're strong on the track of these deep feeder mineralized zones in this alkaline system. B2 Gold, this is another example. I have a small position in B2 Gold that I continue to hold so far. Another example of, this stock, for whatever reason, is not performing the way that some of the other stocks in the sector are. And so as investors, we have to decide. It's like, well, okay, am I gonna ride this bull into the ground, or do I jump off and go find another bull to ride? We can see these pink lines. That was my bullish, optimistic outlook on B2 way back here in April of 21, and clearly that hasn't happened. And so again, I've got some positions like this that I will be moving those funds into other stocks. Endeavor, I have no intentions of selling Endeavor, but as a investor, if we're sitting here watching this thing climbing steadily higher, well, this recent action broke that level. Depending on our exit criteria that we have defined, that might have been, okay, I'm bailing on this stock, I'm going to go look for something else. I continue to hold. Currently, we can see that we're down on this horizontal support resistance level, and it's acting as support again. We can see there it is, support, here it is, support, resistance. So anyway, we got price sitting on a support level there, MACD potentially turning back up, energy in the tank. Nothing exciting about volume. Let's look at the accumulation distribution. And so generally, notice that the general trend is up. So over time, investors are accumulating this stock, albeit they dumped a little bit lately. And just, it's not my intention by any means to pick on Gatos silver. I'm using it as an example. Compare the accumulation distribution action in this vehicle where, basically since it was listed, we've had a general divestment of shares. And if we go look at Endeavor, over time, or at least since, there's October of 2019, in general, investors are accumulating this vehicle. So just something to pay attention to. Altamira Gold, this is a Quentin Henney positive action basing. This is the 200-day moving average, sideways consolidation, nice bump in volume. Again, very, very nice looking accumulation distribution. Investors are buying this thing and hanging on to it. This is a penny stock. We're at 23 cents on, this is over the counter. So this is a Canadian listed. It's Alta on the Canadian markets, and then I've got it over the counter. That's how I've invested in it. Let's see, what do we got next? We have Dolly Varden. I hadn't looked at Dolly in quite a while. Dolly's got a unique position. They're up in British Columbia, a very nice land package, smack dab in the middle of a historic mineral district. They're a juicy buyout target for a couple of existing producing miners. And so I like Dolly, another penny stock, 39 cents. That's a very bullish doji candlestick there. That's almost a, what do we call that? Butterfly doji. So long lower wick, or indicating that buyers came in and they bought this level aggressively and pushed price all the way back up to where it closed there. So very nice looking candle in Dolly Varden. This is the weekly time frame. And again, a penny stock there. Very nice looking land package, juicy target for a takeover by, I think there are two different producing miners that might be interested. Certainly there's one. Ethos Gold, I think we've looked at a couple of times recently. Yeah, I know that we have. And they've, this stock has been doing kind of some basing action, and it looks like just last week, so we're in the weekly time frame, so actually the last 2 weeks, price has broken above this resistance level and is pushing higher. So if we go add, let's go throw another, where's our third or second? There's our median line extension. And so our next price target in this vehicle, we'd be looking at, 50 cents. And currently at 39 cents, which, it's like, okay, who cares? 39 cents, 50 cents, that's a dime. But on a percentage basis, that's a big percentage gain. And I believe that Ethos is another Quentin Henney project. SK Mining, Quentin Henney again, sideways, kind of bumpy, some volatility moving sideways, but certainly no reason to bail on this stock. We can see that we've had a general, a slow divestment of shares. Investors get bored, they're bored trying to grow their money aggressively. And so, stock that's just bumping along sideways, people may go find a better place or a more exciting place to put their money. Loro is another company that, in my opinion, they have the goods, this large position for me, long-term holding. I think they're in Bolivia, potentially as much as 1 billion ounces of silver. Loro has a tremendous silver. It's a polymetallic deposit. I think they've got zinc and tin, which are also in the current environment valuable metals. Price has, obviously big impulsive spike higher, pullback, just kind of sideways bumping, consolidating this big gain. Anytime price makes a big movement, it's reasonable to allow some time to digest that move. So, Laura's looking fine. We're at 17 minutes, folks. Novo, I'm disappointed about Novo. I believe in the long term, again, Novo will do just fine. Investors, clearly finding other places to put their money. There's been this, divestment of shares. There's some large investors that have moved elsewhere. Yeah, some political wrangling going on in the background. It's not important to us. Novo is one of my largest holdings and definitely long term. I don't have a problem with the current price action. Didn't do what I was expecting it to do. I was thinking that this could be the right shoulder of a head and shoulders pattern, and that hasn't played out in Calibre. Avino, this is a U.S. listed silver miner. It's at $1. In my opinion, again, when the sector rallies, everything with silver and gold in its name is going to rally along with the sector, and U.S. listed stocks in particular will benefit from that sector-wide rally. Scorpio Gold, not doing anything exciting. Let's see, Aftermath, just, slowly people are buying, not exciting. So this is the kind of, when I say that I have stocks where I am underwater, this is the kind of stock that I'm referring to. And so I'll be looking for an opportunity to move these funds into stocks that are performing better. Let's see, Hannon, hadn't looked at Hannon in a while. They have a nice land package, and you can see that accumulation, distribution, investors are steadily accumulating this stock over time. That's another penny stock. We're at the 20 cents in Hannon. NV Gold, this is another Quentin Henney, just kind of bumping along a support level, potentially MACD turning up, new buy signal, energy potentially turning up. Investors have divested themselves over recent months. And let's see, that's enough for the mining stocks. Let me take a quick run through the markets. Let's see, where were we at? Here is dollar in the weekly time frame, just pushing up into the 93 level. MACD on a buy signal and pressing up into bull mode, which tells us that the primary trend is up. Energy obviously elevated, got a crossover buy signal. The dollar is bullish, and so the first thing that comes to mind when I see this action in the dollar, I expect the dollar to be weak, and so seeing a strong dollar surprises me, and it brings to mind a point that Richard Russell always made about the synthetic short in the US dollar. And what he was suggesting is that because the whole world, actually at this point we have to say was, because the whole world was forced to do everything in the US dollar, there was the synthetic short position against the US dollar that at some point would resolve and cause unexpected strength in the US dollar. And so I'm wondering if that may be some of what we're seeing. This strength in the US dollar is the rest of the world bailing on the US dollar and sending those dollars home. They're saying, hey, we don't need these dollars anymore, you can have them back. And that flow, that trend of dollars back into the U.S. is causing this unexpected strength. And that flow, being done with the U.S. dollar, so, Russia and China are both buying and trading oil in their own currencies. Whereas it used to be that action, that trading action, only occurred in the U.S. dollar, and it created artificial demand for the U.S. dollar that no longer exists. So anyway, synthetic short in the U.S. Here in the daily time frame, I was looking at two things this morning. So notice this pink. This is a shift pitchfork. In the daily time frame, I don't like to draw forks that are this small. If we drop down to the 4-hour time frame, that's probably a fork we'd want to look at. But I wanted to show this fork just to indicate pretty much the same channel that this fork is showing us that I've drawn with this channel. And that was actually the first thing that I noticed when I looked at this chart this morning, is that we have this channel in the dollar price down here at the bottom of that channel. We've got this resistance, that's 93 that we just saw in the weekly time frame. Sell signal in MACD still in bull mode, energy declining. So that's dollar in the daily time frame. Interest rates, 10-year note, weekly time frame, looks like a bounce off of that Fibonacci level. Sell signal in MACD, energy in the tank. Daily time frame, we've still got this volatility, choppiness. We've got the finding support along this support resistance level. So nothing exciting there. Bitcoin, so we actually got a big, this was Sunday night and Monday morning. We're looking at, this is the daily time frame. And Elon came out and he was running his mouth. And then they got a big short covering rally Sunday night and Monday. So that's that big spike there. It's bullish as all get out. You know, it's all of this volume action is bullish. MACD on a buy signal headed back up towards bull mode. Energy obviously elevated and rising sharply. I mean, this is bullish action in bit. So as a cynic of all things crypto, I have to point out that this spike in volume was inspired by Elon running his mouth and short covering. And so we'll see what kind of follow through we're able to get in Bitcoin, albeit that's very bullish action. So in the equities, so SPX pushed up above the 4,400 level, looks like finding support there. And of course, we've got this is the upper median line of the Sanders pitchfork. So 2 layers of potential support there. MACD on a buy signal in bull mode, energy elevated. So nice action in SPX if you're an equity bull. Dow still struggling, you know, pushed up through that resistance level, but just not happening in the Dow for whatever reason. Nasdaq, you know, new all-time high, has pulled to the 20, found support there. Buyers pushed price back up some, kind of bumping along sideways at this point. We're on a sell signal, energy still elevated. So, you know, more sideways action in the equities. We ought to have, they're open at this point. So we're daily time frame, that's today's action. So no excitement in the equities today, looks like. Let's see, Brent ought to be there, you know, nothing going on in Brent. So folks, I've babbled for long enough. Have a fantastic day and the rest of your week. I will see you